Years later, how one decision by Princess Margaret changed the lives of William and Harry. The rebellious princess inadvertently became the author of numerous innovations within the British royal family, altering the course of history. Upon marrying Anthony Armstrong-Jones in May 1960, Princess Margaret set several precedents that became commonplace within the royal family. Initially, attention was drawn to the manner in which royal weddings were broadcast worldwide. Later on, the possibility for royal individuals to dissolve marriages if they proved unhappy also gained notice. Most significantly, the subsequent generations of the Windsors received an implicit permission to marry not just within aristocratic circles. Margaret's chosen partner couldn't be considered part of the United Kingdom's upper echelons, despite his stepfather being an Irish earl. When the Earl of Ross married his mother, she received the title, but neither of his parents boasted aristocratic ties at the time of Anthony's birth. Consequently, Princess Margaret became the first daughter of an English king in 400 years to legitimize a marriage with a commoner. Royal expert Victoria Arbiter, in the Channel 5 documentary Princess Margaret, Rebel Without a Crown, remarked, "In many ways, Margaret's marriage played a significant role as an equalizer. It demonstrated to people that a member of the royal family can marry an ordinary person, just like you and me." This precedent proved timely for her grandnephews, Princes William and Harry, who also chose their life partners outside the circles of British nobility. William married the daughter of an events agency owner, who became the Duchess of Cambridge on their wedding day. Harry married a divorced American actress, who, by the same principle, became the Duchess of Sussex. Her Majesty also granted a title to Anthony Armstrong-Jones on her sister's wedding day, making him the first Lord Snowdon. Moreover, the marriage ceremony of Anthony and Margaret set the tone for decades to come. It was the first royal wedding televised, and among the guests were celebrities and representatives from artistic circles, contradicting courtly traditions. Margaret filled the Westminster Abbey pews with politicians, celebrities, an artistic and bohemian set, which she and Anthony were close to, concluded Miss Arbiter. There were a vast number of celebrities. It seems this manner was also adopted by Princess Margaret's grandnephews. Who escorted the bride to the groom on this significant day? As her father had passed away from cancer several years prior, Margaret was led to the altar by her sister's husband, Prince Philip. Among the bride's bridesmaids was the only daughter of Elizabeth and Philip, Princess Anne. As for the tiara, the august figure chose to buy one rather than borrow from Elizabeth. The Snowdons' honeymoon was equally glamorous. After the wedding ceremony, the newlyweds embarked on a 6-week cruise aboard the renowned royal yacht Britannia. How Princess Margaret's divorce changed the life of the royal family. The younger sister of Elizabeth's separation from her spouse was not just a personal tragedy for one family, but a turning point in Windsor history. Princess Margaret and Lord Snowdon's divorce was the first royal separation in modern history, and largely paved the way for other members of the British royal family to maneuver. This is detailed in the documentary Princess Margaret, Rebel Without a Crown, released by Channel 5. The Queen's younger sister and Anthony Armstrong-Jones were married for 18 years, but their relationship was far from idyllic. Initially, the prospect of a groom outside the aristocracy was seen by Britons as a clear mésalliance, but Margaret stood by her choice. As she was already 21, she had the right to decide whom she wanted to marry without seeking permission from her elder sister, who was already reigning over Great Britain at the time. Unfortunately, the princess's choice wasn't particularly fortunate. Her husband couldn't handle family issues and sought to avoid his wife wherever possible, provoking countless scenes. Both sought revenge on each other through infidelity and were ready to air their grievances in front of the servants. However, one person benefited from this story: Princess Margaret, who couldn't endure her husband's lack of love, paved the way for other members of the Windsor dynasty, unwilling to tolerate their unhappy family lives. The divorce story cast a shadow on the royal family's reputation, but also cleared the path for others desiring to end unhappy marriages, said former BBC correspondent Jenny Bond. Princess Margaret and Lord Snowdon's divorce took place in 1978. However, Margaret had been defying traditions even before that. The future spouses met in 1958 at a formal dinner arranged by mutual friends. Like her parents, King George and Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon, Princess Margaret walked down the aisle at Westminster Abbey. The celebration took place in May 1960 and was televised, a first among royal weddings. During a documentary about Margaret, biographer Christopher Warwick stated that the princess was as popular as stars like Elizabeth Taylor. Unfortunately, the glamorous lifestyle of Elizabeth's younger sister couldn't secure her husband's love. Soon after their marriage, the couple began to betray each other, but their happiness never made it into the paparazzi's lenses until Margaret was eventually discovered by reporters in the arms of her lover, Roddy Llewellyn, 17 years her junior, on the island of Mustique in 1974. This significantly contributed to their subsequent divorce, as before the scandal, the royal family hadn't even considered the possibility of Margaret and Anthony's separation. The divorce received extensive coverage in the press. The aftermath was quick to follow. 3 of the rebellious princess's nephews also parted ways with their spouses 14 years later. The Queen called 1992 annus horribilis. 3 out of her 4 children announced separations from their spouses. The youngest, Prince Edward, married only in 1999 and didn't repeat their mistakes. In March, Her Majesty's middle son, Prince Andrew, separated from his wife, Sarah Ferguson. Next was his elder sister, Princess Anne, announcing her divorce from Captain Mark Phillips after 19 years of marriage in April. In December of the same year, Prince Charles and Princess Diana separated. The brothers' divorces were officially finalized a little later, in 1996. In the world of celebrity relationships, scandals and divorces often unfold publicly, much like the historical tale of Princess Margaret and Lord Snowdon. Their infidelity and public spats resemble the tabloid dramas of present-day high-profile figures, where every move is captured and dissected by the media. Princess Margaret's bold step of ending her unhappy marriage opened the doors for others in the royal family to follow suit, echoing the way influential personalities today can inadvertently set trends or influence societal norms. Their decisions and actions often pave the way for others facing similar dilemmas to seek resolution and liberation from unhappy relationships. The impact of social media in today's world could be likened to the media frenzy surrounding Princess Margaret's scandal. The power of paparazzi back then mirrors the relentless coverage and scrutiny by online platforms today, amplifying personal stories and shaping public perceptions. The subsequent divorces within the royal family in the 90s, following Princess Margaret's precedent, draw parallels to the domino effect seen in contemporary times when one public figure's choices embolden others to reassess their relationships, resulting in a chain reaction of separations among prominent personalities. In conclusion, Princess Margaret's story, when viewed through a modern lens, mirrors the interconnectedness of personal choices and their reverberations within today's celebrity culture. It underscores how individual decisions, especially from figures in the spotlight, can set off a cascade of similar actions, reshaping societal norms and perceptions surrounding relationships and marriage. What do you think, dear viewers? Write about it in the comments, and see you in the next episodes.